Okay, so this is an exceptional challenge, 5 minute. So c4, I'm going to start with c4. So here, I'm interested in the space in the center and the central control. Okay, knight f3. Go with bishop f4 here. And this looks solid to start off with. Rook c1, maybe. Okay, that looks like a sensible move, c5. a3 could be handy. I hope a3 is handy. I'm wasting time. Alright. So bishop d3. Okay, looks as though maybe this mechanism is handy where I play b4. Can I justify the space? CD or e4 or c5? Can I justify the space? Do I play CD or c5? This is an interesting structural decision here. Maybe the isolated queen's pawn, give the opponent the isolated queen's pawn on this occasion. And I can put more pressure on that immediately. Okay. Right. Is there rook d1? I like the light square bishop without the counterpart. Rook d1 coming out, or knight e4 here. So knight takes, queen takes. A weakness is prompted to handle h7. Alright, okay. Alright, it looks as though structurally I've lost the battle here, structurally. Unfortunately. This weakling pawn. I've lost the battle, but there is now a concrete threat on f6. Not sure this is ideal. But on the other hand, there is that f file. Alright, can I not just win a pawn? Or is this a naughty pawn to win? I hope it's not a naughty pawn. Or poison pawn. A centralized bishop here. Right. Aha. Can I play this for a moment? This knight's kind of dangerous on e5. So there's always rook f7, isn't there? What if I put a bishop on d5 just to stop rook f7 to try and make rook c7 a little bit more effective? Okay, I'm hoping this move is possible without the knight doing anything too dangerous. Alright, there might be a possibility of taking in bishop b7, although the bishop might be trappable. Is that a bit of controversy? Maybe the bishop's trappable. If I calculate that for a moment, rook takes, bishop b7. The rook's active. I take care. Hitting b5. Alright, I'm not sure I'm going in for a trap or not. I'm not sure. Is this a trap? Alright, okay. a3 is a problem. Alright, e3 could drop, but if I get pass pawns going. If I play a4 and I lose b4, so a4, rook b3, a5, rook b4, a6, that's not worth it. I think preparation for that with bishop f1, if I'm taking that pawn up there, or maybe just b5 and then a4. This should be okay. It's 2 pawns on the queen side against nothing. So b5 and a4. Should be okay. Oh, I can pin that. That's a useful pin to get, surely. That's useful, handy. e5. Alright, now this looks absolutely clear. Okay. I think queen c2 is on the way. Alright, there's rook e4. I'm trying to avoid stalemates. Okay. Alright. Plays the game. And Hannisberger. Okay. Who has beaten me probably recently, yeah. Okay, so I can't underestimate anyone. Let's see. So 3 minutes time control. So bishop c4 and d3. I like the setup generally. Give the bishop a square. f5 coming up, queen e1, queen g3. Alright, maybe try and nudge this guy away to get that g file. Whereas c5, that weakens d5. Okay, there's a bit of a concession weakening d5. Maybe queen d2. Alright. And possibly knight g1 is a threat of h3. Trapping the bishop right now. Probably knight g1 is interesting. Alright. Alright, rook f2 is the way to do this, I think. Not to lose f3 in a hurry. Oh, okay. Alright, I think the point is this pawn. If I just kick this guy politely away, hopefully black's struggling, I mean a little bit, protects this, but that's the best piece. Okay. Now I can work with this position. I hope f3 is still an issue. Okay, double. And it looks as though bishop d5 could be a better placement for that bishop. Right, I don't want to weaken my structure. Knight g4, I think. That's the best piece to knock out. If I can treble, I know it's opposite colour bishops. That's the controversy there. Oh, knight takes f6 looks very strong. Doubling the pawns. Oh, this looks very strong, queen g2 for rook h7. It stops rook g8 as well, this trebling. I think this is it. Alright, thanks for the game, Hanish. Dweep has also taken me apart quite a few times. 4-3, even more dangerous. 4-3, only maintaining a slight lead here. Has it been London system tortures or something? Try King's Indian. Yeah, it's because I'm modelling Bobby Fischer at the moment, going through Bobby Fischer games in some depth. So we've got a sort of Petrosian system here. And yeah, Petrosian system, try and use the C5 square, try and get F5 in. Alright, so I will avoid the doubling of the pawns. Alright, this gives E5. I'll take this opportunity given for the E5 square. And okay, that's interesting. Do I try and hold it? Oh, I've just given myself some holes. So the time parity is there as well. This is a bit concerning, this game, actually, at the moment. Pretty concerning. I think white stands better. Can I, as a maneuver I've just noticed, is it worth doing h5, knight h6, or am I weakening my king? I'm intrigued if this maybe a prelude to g5 and h4. Oh, c4 was also there hanging. I just realised. Do I have time to take this, or is there e5? Is there a backfire? Alright, I'm going to dare take it. I don't like the idea, in principle, of opening up the bishop. But in practice, surely that's unplayable. Am I getting crushed with bishop g6 or something horrible after e5? I don't like this liberation opportunity, in principle. Alright, back to the blockade, which hems in the bishop. So g5 here. If I've got that hem on the bishop, okay, knight f5 I'm not too worried about. I think if I get a juicy knight on e5, this is a fun knight on e5. Okay, parry f5 square. Maybe, oh, there's a knight g4 tactic here. This configuration is waiting to rise to the surface, isn't it? Although I've just dropped e7, haven't I? I'll try and do damage to the pawns en route. Oh dear, is white actually material up? Uh-oh. Have I just lost material out of that? Oh dear. That was very naughty of me. Can I at least try and weaken the dark squares? Or not? Hey, rook e5. Okay, I've got pressure on. d5. Oh, g4 here is another tactical idea. Thankfully. Okay, so king g7 or bishop g5, maybe bishop g5. Alright, this looks as though it's good news bears at the moment. Good news bears. Can win this bishop. Oh, thanks for the game. Yeah, that was a tough challenger, obviously, from the stats. Dangerous ride. So, alright, knight f6, I'm encouraged with f4, this Vienna game. So d3, and if I castle, okay, so if I play f5, well, I think h3 is afforded because taking a knight d4, queen f2 without knight g4. I think that's afforded to try and get that bishop. So I've got the bishop without the counterpart, which I think is a useful asset here. If I can maybe tuck that away and then kick this knight later, it's something to work with, this bishop here. Okay, so a3, bishop a2, I think. a3, bishop a2. It's nice on the diagonal. In fact, I've been, because I've been looking at these Fischer games recently, he actually called the Russians chicken for not allowing his bishop c4 against the Sicilian defences. There was one tournament early on where they were starting to play Caro-Kann. But this bishop on the diagonal is a big theme in a lot of those Fischer games. The bishop like kind of being liberated on the diagonal against the Sicilian. But here, yeah, it's without an opposite light square bishop. Perched on d5, I think it's quite good. I can perch that bishop on d5. I think the positional, a lot of it, this bishop's kind of special, and especially in the Royal of Heads as well, when you sort of bring the bishop back into position, how it liberates later. I think it sets strategy quite significantly, quite often, this bishop. It just, I don't know, it's an important one for king safety on that diagonal. So, okay. Let's see. Bishop e3. Or bishop takes. I think there's a tactical idea, knight g4, potentially. But at the moment, it's not too vicious. Something to bear in mind in terms of forcing moves. I'll put my king here away from... Oh, I don't know if actually any safer. Okay. Oh, d4, there's knight e4. Oh. Unless... Okay, I'm going to find this diagonal. If I play takes d4 and then c3 and then I've got a diagonal in mind, I can play d4, that unpurchase that very impressive knight, actually. That's an impressive knight. If I can hold the e4 square here. Oh, there's almost bishop here as a tactic as well. If I played a rook to the wrong place. Okay, I'm just trying. There's bishop h4, there's g3 though. Okay, so there's g3. So that's not a big problem. Okay. There it's a big problem. Bishop h4 skewering. Let's just take the pieces away from the dark squares, away from that bishop. So queen g3 here, bishop h4, maybe there's queen h2 or queen g4. Okay, can I double here? There's bishop h4 again. What about, okay, e5 doubling. And there's bishop f4. This is a side note looking at d6. A little side note. If I can't do this, can I do something else? What about rook e3, rook f3? If I want to double without hassle. Okay, getting to double. I think any d5. Alright, that's interesting. Just drop that back for a moment. And then start to make process, undermining process. Or not. Alright, so bishop g5, try and get an outpost on f6. Is that mostly harmless? It might be. Okay, I'll go for it anyway. Get an outpost square on f6, potentially. We'll get rid of this bishop. Alright, then it looks as though e5 and bishop g6. This is a smash. I think e5, rook g6 is a smash for queen g6. Another care. No, it's not. Because the queen's got h7, queen h6, queen h7. So in that case, something more subtle. Okay, e5 anyway, that opens up that bishop. So what am I looking for? This pin for a moment. It's not really a pin, is it? Let's get the king off, so that might be bishop g6 from king 6. Alright, g4, trying to open up stuff with g4. Okay, I've just closed the position. Is that pointless? Hey, e6 here, hold on. I think there's e6 here. Something has happened with this pressure. Alright, can I take... Right, this looks very dangerous. I think e7, because the rook is held by the... oh, did I miss out a trick with check? Yeah, I think I might have missed out a trick. Oh yeah, that was getting dangerous, for sure. Thanks. Dangerous, right? Infamous. I'll try Fischer repertoire today, yeah, because I've been looking at Fischer games. So e4, yeah, there's a whole load of stuff. Okay, he has played. I have seen games he's played against the modern Steinitz with a6 and d6. I think he's played like this: c3 and d4, as you might expect. Central control battle. I think this might be okay, just to give bishop e3 as an option. a3 even. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'll put this bishop on this diagonal. Again, this bishop leads the way, I think. It's the attacking bishop here. I think an idea of d5 and knight d4 is tempting, if this is not going to be exchanged off. Okay, some strategic bishop exchanges occurring, it seems. Knight d5 looks like a comfortable knight against c7. It looks as though if I want to liberate this bishop, I can get behind the rooks. Drop d4. Technicality. Drop d4. Oh, there's d5 here. Oh, there's knight e5. Nothing to write home about. No, not like that, not like that. Okay, and there's also rook g6, bishop h3 to factor in on top of everything else. So let's not go to g3. Oh, mind you, there's rook h3. Maybe that was interesting. But here, okay. There's no f4. Am I being a bit outplayed? There's no f4. I'll try and work for f4. There's almost a bishop b5. It's getting a bit scary, this. Okay. f4. The knight is tangoing around. I'll double. Would that be... maybe that's something. Okay, I'm going for some sort of attack. But b2, dropping b2 is not entirely planned, to say the least. e5 takes knight e4. Alright, allowing double pawns here. Okay, I'll go for that. Can I kick this guy back without dropping b2? Is there an e5 for e6? That would open up the bishop, create a strong pawn on e6. Knight b6, e5, surely. Knight b6, e5. That surely is okay. This pattern of events, this e6, undoubling might actually create a more exploitable weakness to undouble pawns. But e6 is tempting as well. I think maybe e6. Take that one. So, rook f6, queen g4. So I'm threatening knight e4 and f6. Okay, knight e3, this is check. So f6 looks good. On the check, I'll bring the queen back. Okay, maybe e4 is a nice square for the queen. Okay, this is knight wanna munch. Let's just find out. What is it? e7. That's e7. I've just realised. e7, e8. I've just realised that was inaccurate. e7 was the way. Or was it? Maybe it was knight e5. Maybe it was no big deal. Okay. e7 here looks strong. Simple and strong. Alright, so I can just play f6 if I'm trying to be sensible, rather than give up the queen for a knight. Alright, thanks for the game. Fudra. So, I think sticking with an e4 repertoire today. Knight f3. Really pass. Okay, so I'll play bishop a4. Fischer has played on occasion the exchange variation as well, of winning a ton of theory, more theoretical. So knight d2. Alright, can I kick this guy? Alright. I'm hoping I can hold e4 for a moment. Let's just hold e4 so I can do this without dropping e4. In fact, okay, that's interesting. Can I get, I don't want an exchange of queens necessarily, so queen e2, maybe g4, then knight f1, then either knight g3 or bishop e3. Right, g4's out of the question, I think, tactically. It's too unsafe to do g4. I think that sack could be annoying. I'll go with knight f1. What do I need to do here? There's a4 activating the rook, trying to weaken the structure. That's giving c4. There's an alternate plan here, bishop e3, to try and use c4 with the knight. a6 is hanging as well. But then bishop takes f3 is vicious. Alright, so the light squares generally are interesting. I think g4 and knight f5 is also... No, there's always a sack. Oh, the knight's supporting that, actually. Do I go with that? Maybe I do. The knight's supporting g4. This might be unsound. Okay, now knight f5 is interesting, surely. Right, wrench open a g file with this move. Alright, there's queen a6. I don't think that drops anything immediately. Knight d4 hits the queen, takes knight f3, king g2, knight e1, check. Is that a poison pawn? Yeah. What about this diagonal? This is a theoretical downside. It just needs to be risen to the surface. Looking at Fischer games, I like how he identifies skewers, latent skewers. He sort of rises them to the surface. But here, you know, bishop a4 is a move immediately. I think bishop a4. This skewer. There's potentially bishop takes and knight e7. If it wasn't for rook e7. Well, there's knight takes e5 there. Queen takes c3. Knight g6. Alright, there's bishop b3. Okay. Or just, what about king g2 as preparation for queen a6? I'm getting down on the clock here. So queen a6 without this knight d4, knight f3 business. Okay, in this case there is bishop c6 for knight e7. Because that was holding e7. That weakness on the last move. Alright, so I just challenge the central squares at all times like this. Positional, central challenge. Maybe g5 dislodges central control as well, in theory. This wins material. I think I'm just taking here on a pre-move on this occasion. Queen e8 threatens. Okay. Oh. Alright, thanks for the game, Fudra. Alright, special serial. So, e4. Okay, we're going to go knight f3. Oh, this is an interesting line. To take as a mistake sometimes, it is giving me a little bit of something I didn't have. The central queen, on this occasion, that central queen is not an immediate tempo gainer, so it actually sits quite nicely in the centre looking at g7. There's actually more of an upside, I think, on the downside of that queen out and about here. Queen g7 here, bishop f6. Start the calculation. Queen g3. This might be tempting, actually. Try and punish that. Bishop e7. Looking at d6. Looking at accepting double pawns. Looking at queen a5. If I crash through with queen d6, queen d8. This idea, queen a5 here. Queen d6. Is it a bit slow? Check. It's a bit slow. The pawn holds b4 there. And the diagonal is unprotected piece as well. Queen g7, rook g8. Okay. I think if I castle knight e4, queen g7, there's always this looks dangerous. I'd rather castle on the king side though. I'm being a chicken. Queen a5 or knight e4. Ah, since I mentioned it, well, let's not be a chicken. Queen, I'm going to regret queen a5. That holds a3 there. Knight e4 is the other thing, but that looks just like it should be punishable. Queen g7, bishop b5, bishop d7, rook d6. There's no rook d6, knight d6. Oh, that definitely looks like rook d6. Bishop b5. Well, this cut the queen own counterplay with queen a5. That's the one I was worried about. Knight e4 is queen g7. There's bishop h6. There's queen e7. Right. Can I nudge the queen with bishop d3? If I try and nudge the queen with ed. Oh, that doesn't help. Okay. Queen e6. Doesn't help. I can get everything off and win h7. Maybe that's enough. Or is that too unambitious? There's a check here. King d2. That doesn't matter that much. It's a pawn up or something? I'll just go like this. Simple. Or is it f5? F5, I don't think I'm getting my bishop out. Alright, I'm going to go with this. Modest ambition. The h pawn. So the h pawn. I think I'm going to stop the pawn pawn if needed. Okay, this one, because I don't want to drop f3. There's always an f5 disconnection. On the h7, there's an f5 disconnection. Yeah. These are on dark squares away from the bishop. Right. Okay, but here, it does look as though that's dangerous. Is it possible rook h5, rook g5? Let's mark down b5 for a moment. Gives rook g4. What about rook d4 and c4 and then rook d7? Or rook d6? Oh, king b3 to hold a4 first. Okay, okay. I'll swap h7 for b6. Oh, okay. That's the end of that. Right, thanks, Special Serial. Okay. Why so sad? Sad. Okay, 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have to go on the next challenge all the time. Andy Bond. Buzzing new player. Okay, Andy Bud. I'll try King's Engine again. I'll go with Knight BD7. I don't want the Queen exchange variation. This is more ambitious. Why isn't E4 an issue here? Is that not an issue? Am I saying something? Is there a Knight E5 punishment after? It's still an interesting centre pawn. Maybe there's Knight. Is there Knight takes G3? Well, here I've just won that centre pawn. I'm just going to play like this. F4, Queen H4. Is that something? Yeah, Bishop F4, Queen H4. There's Bishop G3. E4. I'm giving up some dark squares immediately. I like the idea of pushing through of F4. So what about this? F4, F3. Well, in this case, I will lock down that bishop because that bishop's been hemmed in. There's also B2 for the taking here, isn't there? Alright, I think I can exchange off this bishop. Would that help? I would hope it would help. Entry point B8. Alright, actually, this is interesting. I think I'll use this rook. So this rook's looking at A5. Rook B4. The king walks are out of the question at the moment. Yeah. Alright, why can't I just take this? G5, okay, that's out of the question. Right, this pawn is very dangerous, surely. Bishop H5 is not a mating threat. Not yet. So, okay. It's useful to gain a tempo and then win A3. If I play King F6, there's King H5. King G7 might be interesting. Okay. Just stepping away, so... Okay. C4 and then A2 restricts the rook here. Alright. Well, I could get ready for the rook and pawn endings a bit more before the transaction occurs, like here. Okay, so rook E4 for E2. There's rook e1, c4. That doesn't really matter, does that? c3, c2, c1. Okay, I'll go here actually. There's another way of playing it, just king e3, king d2. Queen. Okay, I'll simplify. Alright, thanks, Andy Bud. Okay. Some exotic new nicknames today that I've never played before. So d3, I'm going to try d3 here. I think I will play c4. It looks like a situation where... Oh. Okay, this is hopefully not terrifyingly dynamic pawn sack. Okay, f4. I am concerned about my loose piece, but e5 seems to be winning material. My unprotected piece. Okay. Knight d2 or bishop c4, maybe just make that protected. It's e1's common square. Knight d2, knight e4. That's not a threat. Knight e4. Doesn't factor in. Okay. Alright, thanks. Okay. Right, thanks. Oh, no increment, please. No increment. It's just 3-0 is preferred. Okay. Five seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have to abort. Let's go in the queue here. One, is he around? It doesn't seem to be around. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not around. Okay. We'll go for another King's Engine story. With knight bd7. I think with knight c6 it is asking for a queen exchange, which is a little bit dull. Alright, so I can go back, I think, to protect c7 if needed. Alright, a4 is controversial. It's dropping a pawn immediately. Or is it? It's knight e4. If I can support it, it might be justifiable. Okay, I'll go with that. Now I've got some pressure on e4, makes f5 slightly more effective. If I can liberate the bishop, okay, with this diagonal. Okay, there's a target here. There's a defense, bishop f3 or bishop d3. I can leave the option, it gives me a g-file road. Surely that's dangerous, g-file road. Temptation. There's a queen g3, there's knight f1. There's a check here, which is a potential dream come true for King's Indian players. Generally. Okay, so it looks as though I've got a loose piece issue coming up. That bishop on e3, but on the other hand, it's an immediate big threat scenario on g2, controlling here. Right, so f4, I can take that. That's a target. And there's a target on the diagonal. I think f4 is interesting. This treble. I can take the rook. Is it worth taking the rook? Maybe it's worth taking the rook. There's a possibility of, like this, Queen h3 coming up. Okay, I will fragment the pawns. Queen g3 probably threatens. Hold on, that's Queen h5. That'll be checkmate. Technicality, oh, blimey. That would have been a technicality and a half. Queen takes h5 mate. Would have been a major technicality, a weakness of the last move. That's extremely embarrassing when that happens. Oh there, I could have easily just played that. I was on the verge of playing that. I don't know. It's good to notice these weaknesses of the last moves by default, to avoid the embarrassment factor. Yeah. Okay. Right, it's easier now, surely. I can hit this guy. I can go on this side. Does seem a torture rack for white at the moment, a torture rack. Or am I overestimating? It should be good, surely. The knight could go to f5. Alright, the knight's going to f5. In the meantime, I'll give my opponent that. I need this doubling to happen. Okay. We've got this grind game. Uh-oh. I've got no plan, have I? I've got no clear plan. And I'm 20 seconds down. Okay, this is bad news. Is there a plan in the center? Maybe? F3. 19 seconds. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have at least played rook f5. It's desperate. I've messed it up. If I did have anything, I've messed it up. 9 seconds. No rematch actually. Okay, thanks. That's a bit sad. Okay. Things like we played before. Crip. Oh, I hate losing those King's Indians. Oh. Crip's playing with me with King E2 again. Oh, what is this? To be fair, I mean, I didn't have a clear plan anyway. Exchange up at some point there, so that was a disaster. Okay. C4 knight e5 to d3. D4 coming up, or ace6. Maybe try and open up. Nope, not quite like that. Oh, there's knight e4 here, hitting the queen. Knight takes c3 looks good. Bishop going back, c3. I don't think the opening's that good, but anyway, it's sort of a handicap, surely, that opening. Okay, so c3. Yeah, but I can play check here and just take this guy. Alright, thanks. Okay, John tag. Okay, so coming up with knight bd2, rook e1. Knight c4 coming up, bishop e3. Oh, actually, okay. If I take this here, and maybe queen here. Okay, oh, actually, I'm under pressure, actually. Yeah, a little bit on the queen side. So, I'm going to kill my own bishop at this rate. Yes, killing my own bishop. TH1. Right. I haven't really got that much, actually. I've got to be careful as well. Got to be careful. Oh, there's e5. That's a blunder, isn't it? e5. Check. And another one is pretty good position. Okay, so I'm going to play knight takes. Yeah, the foreign scored. Okay, thanks, John Tag. Sean. Okay, so knight b5 is on d6. This is a variation, which I've forgotten how it goes, largely, but anyway. There's a tactic here with bishop h7, f rook d5. So what is white? What is black doing there? c4. Okay, so rook e1, queen g3 for bishop h6. There's dark square play here. Bishop f4. Okay. There's bishop b2 looking at g7, queen g6. There's rolling pawns, I would hope. These rolling pawns in the center. Queen g6. Okay. Can I roll the pawns? Let's take care of e3 as a maybe threat. Maybe it's a threat. Okay. Oh, I can actually do this. Looking at the queen. So that's annoying, isn't it? And rook f6 forking. That's here for bishop for queen c3. Oh, that's diagonal. Or I can almost threaten this because of that pin. But if in theory, if I could threaten the bishop, but this is a carries queen c3. Probably, e3 though every time that happens. Maybe rook f6 for rook f5. That's that pin as well. Rook f6. I'll go with I'll go with rook f6. That holding e3. Bring it on like this. There's queen g7, I suppose, pinning against d4. I suppose. And there's bishop a1 protecting the bishop. Okay, bishop a1 just keeps the bishop protected. So rook f5 is threatened. I believe it was threatened anyway. Okay. Take with the queen. And so rook f7. And this looks very dangerous. Alright, there's queen f8, yeah. Thanks. Okay. Daniel Jin. So I'll play knight f3 here and go back into a royal pairs. Yes, my opponent's using my stuff. Unfortunately, I really hate this c3 d4 That's what I've been thinking. Yeah, Berlin setup instead. Sometimes with black pieces. Trying to control that e5 square. d5 is actually, it looks plausible to play d5 here. And then d6. The central control influence is not just the 4 squares, it's these others. If you look at the extended center, I'm encroaching on the extended center with d6. So black central control, I think, is pretty bad. Up to d6. Oh, I've had this myself. I didn't like it with the black pieces. Okay, I think I'm winning material here. Actually, there is Queen F4. That'd be the best idea. Okay. Best move. G3, Queen F6, King G2. Any D6 and Bishop G4 later. Doesn't seem a big deal. Alright, I'm going to take that off. Maybe Queen D4 and F5. If the Queen goes way out. F5. Right, getting a knight to D6 is interesting. Okay, if the Brit moves Bishop F7. Alright, so Bishop F7, Bishop G6. Okay, there's a slight concern about G2. Here the check and then knight takes E4. I fades the game. And John. No increment place. Snell 64 has just 1-1. It's just 1-1 against Snell 64. So this is an epic match encounter. Okay. Not available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's not available at the moment. Grob. What's the antidote? I think D5 is quite good. And there's a strange gambit, actually, if I could remember how it works against the Grob. How does that work? Dropping B7 under certain scenarios. I think it's around about here. Just to drop B7 to make it a sort of gambit. Counts gambit. Right. If I can get a lot of development out of this. Because the Queen is kind of violating opening principles a bit. The Queen in its own right winning the material, giving me the tempo gainers. The King's still in the centre. There's a few weak squares around. There's Rook B4 as well. I think Rook B4 and D takes gives rise to interesting stuff. Knight E5, Knight F3. It looks as though these squares are compromised. Right, there's Rook B6 as a tempo gainer. There is actually Knight E5 here. I've just noticed because of Knight D3. Same situation there. So knight d3. And I would like to keep the queens on just for fun, just for the hunt of the king. So queen b8 or something. The king's been compromised. Now queen e4, there is knight f2, which protects g4. There's knight f2 anyway here. Okay, knight f2. Okay, so bishop h3. Looks dangerous. Queen h2. It looks as though I've got a problem. Have I got a problem? Have I been naughty? Any move? Interesting. Convincing. Or not? No, I haven't got a convincing move. I don't know. I'll go with this. Maybe there's something. Okay, knight b3 before I get slaughtered or something else. Oh boy. Down on the clock, down on material. This hasn't worked out. Do I start speeding up just to try and win on time now? This is a shame. But I think it's the only option. If there is an option. Grob's worked out. Good old Basman. It's only the clock saving me, if there's anything. Only the clock. Well played. Okay. I drew with Basman once with black pieces against the Grob. Sutton Congress, I think 1994 or something. I was actually better at one point. He was delighted for the draw. I was better at some point, but I didn't have the guts. Let's carry on. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on the YouTube channel, My Game Against Basman, if anyone's interested to follow that up. I think it was in multiple parts. There was a time when YouTube was limited to like 10 minutes each section. Might be in multiple parts. So okay, bishop d5. Is the bishop going back? Maybe a4. Bishop's going back. Rook e1, knight over here. Is that a problem? I assume. Oh, let's just do it like that. Okay. What about bishop g5 coming up here? Or bishop c6 first, bishop g5. Otherwise queen e6. But I change the move order. I do this first, then here, then there. So that there's no queen e6. I think otherwise I'm giving queen e6. It depends on, it's the move order rearrangement. For limiting replies as you need to limit replies by changing the move order. But actually, okay, bishop takes there, there's bishop takes here. So this seems to be quite convincing at the moment. And this is protected by this. Okay, so that looks convincing, that move order to win material. This is a backfire around here. I would hope not. Okay. There's knight h4 to f5. Right, knight h4 here. I don't think there's a knight f2. So I think I'm going to just play queen g4 at this rate. Right, so knight f5. G3, yeah, the bishops hasn't got e3. G3 is coming up if needed. I'll play it to open up G file here. Oh, okay. Alright, thanks for the game, Sonics. Okay, so d4, rook e1, looks like classic central control stuff. Okay, g takes is interesting, otherwise I'm going to lose d4. This g file I'm looking forward to. Oh, the knight's weakness of the last move, guys. Or was that mouse step? That's a shame. I'll simplify. Okay, even though I've got double pawns while my piece up, I just need to put more pressure on the G file, I think. So queen d2 and rook g3, stuff like that. Okay, let's leave that there. I don't want the knight disturbed or put under pressure. Put on the scrutiny. I don't need that scrutiny. Okay. Just double the rooks. Queen h6, rook g6. Or not, as the case might be. I'll go queen g1, rook g6. Rook f3, it's not, that's okay, isn't it? So queen g1, queen g2, queen, rook g1. Yeah, there's definitely rook g6 in the air. So queen g2, rook g1. So that's not check. There's knight d6 here. If I'm left alone for knight d6, I'm going to take it. Alright, so Like going back. That's a little bit awkward. It looks as though my pieces are not that safe. Maybe it drops back to G3. Playing a move like Bishop E1 doesn't seem ideal. Okay, there's rook G6, rook E6, if this is nudged. There's no knight G5 just yet. I can take this guy though. Right, finish the game. George Dav. Is it possible that maybe it's not here? That's a fork. Not here. Right. I put more pressure here on the central squares, I think. Rook E1. So I think the bishop can drop back. There's always a construction with bishop F5. G6 and bishop F5. Okay, that's interesting. Undermining my central grip. This C file is sort of interesting. Maybe rook C1. Oh, bishop A4. Oh, this looks dangerous for the king in the center. Golden rule, principle of the openings. You shouldn't do active operations before being beyond defeat, basically. Forget all the concrete, like whatever principles you're at. I think one overarching philosophy, just if you can castle early in general, it's like putting yourself beyond defeat before going on the attack. But here, I don't think I can punish this just yet. It looks as though E6, F8, I can't punish that, can I? Or maybe I can. I don't need to indulge that tactic if I can't see it clearly. I can't see it that clearly. Maybe it's nothing. This bishop is hemmed in, actually. Maybe this is nothing. Okay, it looks like nothing at the moment. I'll put this bishop back, just C-file pressure. Although I'm thinking now E6, knight E5, queen H5. Go with this. The king is in the center here. This looks as though black's pushing the luck with the king in the center. It looks as though this is very dangerous, actually. Forget this for a moment, because queen f7 looks at e7 and e6. If rook e8, queen e6 is surely dangerous. So I might actually go for this. That king is very precarious here. Rook e8, queen e6. Okay, yeah, king in the center. I think the general, even if you don't follow any general opening principles. I think the easier one to remember as a general philosophy is just put yourself beyond defeat before going on the attack. It's art of war. It's in chess terms, you know, just develop the pieces, castle early, then active operations after that. I mean, I'm looking for resourceful stuff to exploit the king in the center. So it's very easy to slip up if you don't follow the art of war principle in the opening. It's easy to slip up, and quite often people are greedy for pawns, poison pawns, and they end up essentially not following that principle of art of war, in my view. Okay, so here, looking at f4 and b2, maybe knight f4. Is this a bit dodgy? Anytime the knight moves, there's a queen d4 check. It looks as though I might be able to, I don't know, might be able to get this pawn without being punished too much. Okay, so it looks as though knight h3 is not working. But there is, as mentioned before, queen d4 check. This, I'm asking for this, but then there is a knight h3 protected by the bishop. I think simple here is just check. I think check is simple. Simples. Let's keep simple here. Check. Take this bishop out. Although, having said simple, there's stuff like this going on which is kind of not so simple, but it needs to be calculated. Rook f5. It looks as though my queen, you know, might go back to g7 there. On the other hand, this situation is looking a little bit scary if that's in the air and knight e2 happens. My queen goes somewhere, and then that's all of a sudden interesting. Get rid of this possibility of this f-file pressure with f5, I think. Okay, I'm going to go with f5. Although this bishop is not great. Oh, this looks precarious for me, actually. Alright, I think it looks rather precarious because of check. I don't like where this could go. Yeah, I don't know where this can go at the moment. Don't like this area around my king. Yeah, have I bitten off more than I can chew here? Okay, maybe that's better. The queen c3 has been put away. Queen c3. I thought that was an interesting check available. Queen d4 here, wanting to go. Oh no, c7. Rook d4. Tambagana. My queen's in the wrong place. I'm happy to get rid of the queens. Okay, so can my king do anything here? Oh, I have to take that. That's nice. Yeah, okay. Here. Maybe rook d4. Alright, so rook d4 here. Okay, so yeah. It looks interesting. I'll stop the use of knight d5 at least. U4, centralize. Okay, centralize again this rook around the central squares. Okay, there's no major issue, it seems, at the moment. There's a knight g4 if I leave that. I am going to be boring here. Can I squeeze over here? I'm threatening a mating thing. Alright, maybe not. I'll go around here. Oh, okay. This is pathetic. I was just concerned. Okay. 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 Okay, it's gone totally crazy, this game, and I deserve to lose. I accept that. Yeah. Oh, I did time out. Oh, I timed out. Oh. Okay. Okay, one last game today, and I hope you guys can check out my courses, by the way. On those links over there. Also, Kingscrusher TV /chess courses. I think there's a command here, which has got all the discount codes. Kingscrusher TV /chess course. It's got all the discount codes, which work for the next 20 days. If you want to check those out. Okay, I'm going to abort this. Is there a bullet game or something? No. Okay, have we played Alexander the Great today? Not sure we have. We haven't played. Okay, we'll make this the last game. No, I got canes in the last game last time. I wonder if that's going to happen here. I got absolutely caned last week, which is at 3 PM on YouTube later today. Spoiler alert. So that wasn't a pleasant game. Is it? Because I did do a brisk walk before this session today in the garden, going around the garden, getting. I think it helps oxygen to the brain. Apparently, there's new research on that. If you do walking, it's subtly increasing oxygen to the brain. Because the vibrations back from feet hitting the ground. So yeah, I think I'm a big fan of walking at the moment. If you ever feel dozy during the day, there's an argument for walking on at least soft surfaces like grass if you can. I think there's a big argument for that. I think that's my latest thoughts, and I've been checking that out. I think that makes sense. And I have been feeling more alert when doing that bit, just even for 5 minutes. So I tried that before this session actually today. Okay, so rook c1, bit of a walk. I think Botvinnik mentioned it. I mean, this is way back. He mentioned going for walks before games. So I think, yeah, this just general oxygen supply is interesting. Brisk walks. I think even 5 minutes does it. Okay. But sometimes, it's muddy outside, it's cold, it's freezing. You've got to really make an effort sometimes. That's the thing. Yeah, some effort's needed, but okay. So f4, bishop d3. Okay, my pawns are away from the bishop for a moment. This is a grind. How comes my last games of the session are so incredibly hard all the time recently? I have lurking assassins, don't I? They just want to get me when I'm at my weakest. They've just been waiting for me to be at my weakest at the end of the session. Okay, I have to grind this out somehow. I have to grind this out this game. How do I grind this out? How? I've been looking at a lot of Fisher grinds actually. Maybe they're helpful here. So this latest course I'm working on is like Fisher games, looking at instructive Fisher games, and he does have quite a lot of grinds. There are brilliancies, and I do wonder if his reputation for grinding actually increases the number of brilliancies. I don't think people like going into endgames with him for like hours and hours of Germans and stuff, which they used to play. Maybe people didn't fancy that, and they played strange stuff to avoid that earlier on, to avoid torture rack sessions. Maybe that's what's happening. Sometimes, if you're a grinder, you can actually get more exciting games. The threat of the grind is stronger than the execution, maybe. So anyway, so here we are in this position. It looks as though surely, actually, bishop b5 is a delicate instrument here for that passed pawn, because I'm going to win h7. Well, this passed pawn, c6, c7, right? I think I should take that out. Go with king c6. Oh, I've noticed something just about this rook check. The rook and pawn endings are the most sadistic things going in chess, aren't they? If you get one move wrong, sometimes. Oh. Oh, yeah. Talking of grinds, did I really force this game to be a grind? Because I'm talking about grinds. I'm talking about losing. I think I'm influencing how this game becomes a cliff edge grind. Was that really always going to be the case for this game? Anyway, so yeah. Okay, anyway. Okay, comments, questions, like, share, subscribes on YouTube. I'll upload it next week. Thanks very much. If you want to check out the courses, there's this course thing, Kingscrusher TV / chess courses. It's not there, but it's got the sort of menu of that. All those links have got discount codes. Okay,